Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is the 22nd of December, 2017. And we are 2 minutes before 7:30. How are you all doing today? Hopefully you're doing fairly well. I'll just kind of take a look at what we have coming up for us today. In under a minute, we're going to have, for about a minute, durable goods, core price index is coming out, CPI. So those are bit of market movers, and we'll kind of take a look to see what happens there. We'll also take a look at cryptocurrencies as we as our last little bit here. Probably talk about that mostly actually because there's just not a lot of stuff to look at in Forex because we are day before the Christmas weekend, and just gonna have a lot of kind of dull action for the until the end of the year. I forgot the other news. We got home sales coming out at 8, and then at 9 we have more home sales. Michigan sentiment, just kind of a slew of various economic releases today. Let's take a look at we'll look at gold quick. Gold has just been on its own little run up. Now this is kind of typical action of a going into a holiday is not a lot of participation and just kind of a slow meandering drive in one direction, and this direction is up. This is frustrating to trade. It's just coiling around this angle the whole time. Doesn't want to break above it. Doesn't want to break below it. It's just actually in perfect momentum with it the whole way here. We have not experienced any large fake out or anything. It's a dull trade. It's an annoying trade. It's not a good trade at all, really. It's nothing. We'll have to wait for the first to roll around for us to see any kind of opportunity. We're looking at the euro now. Same scenario, less drastic as far as how muted and flat the trade is, but we're still kind of like that here. We did have a little fallout last evening at 6. We did go from 1852 all the way down to 1817. About 40 pip drop down there, which was recovered pretty quickly, respected that angle of support. This long-term trend from back here has been holding up as resistance. It's been tested a lot, but for the last since 7 o'clock yesterday evening, we've just been in a like a 10 pip range the whole time. Not a lot of movement here. All right. That economic news just came out, really having a little effect here. Again, there's not a lot of trade opportunities here because nothing's really going to move. So I'm really not going to give out any scenarios on what's going to happen here because there isn't anything to really look at. When this kind of stuff happens, it's best just to sit on the sidelines. I mean, why commit capital if you can't form a basis of where it may go? If you can't form a really good probability of where things are going to move, wait for other people to do that. I mean, why put your money at risk for something that's just gambling then? I do not like to gamble. The dollar-yen pair here, same kind of situation. We are respecting this angle and this harmonic line at 113.33 as a support. We're still in our highs for the week. Broke this trend but did not collapse below it. So we're looking at this to, just if it's kind of moving up here, trading flat, it's going to probably continue to move up and trade flat, and or trade flat. So don't expect a lot of movement with any of these today. Or until after at least Tuesday. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, same issue. It's kind of hanging out around this whole range ever since the 13th, really. It's not done much of anything. Euro pound, we have a lot of wicks here, up and down. But we are treating that 18 or that 88, 59 area as a flat zone here. That Fibonacci area is also one of our minor harmonics here in resistance. So someone could say we're getting a head and shoulders forming, maybe we could see, but again, not a lot of movement, not a lot of participation. In fact, just wanted to call your attention to the daily on the euro pound pair. The euro pound is, according to who you listen to, the most traded pair in the world. And if you look at ever since, move over a day there, the 15th of December was, well, actually, it was the 14th of December was the last day that we traded at average or a little bit above average volume. And the trading ever since then, from the 18th until today, we have been below half of the average volume each day. So that should tell you what is going on there as far as participation in this market. The other reason I think that you may be seeing this is that we have had a lot of capital in both institutional money and in individual retail side trading into cryptocurrencies. There has been a real flight of capital over there. I think it was last week the entire market cap of cryptocurrencies was 450 or 475 billion, and it was almost at 3/4 of a trillion just a couple days ago. So that is pretty wild. It's not it's no joke that a lot of even Forex traders, including yours truly, is involved in trading cryptocurrencies more and more. Looking at the pound yen here, I don't get to see that there. Still in this did fall a lot and found some support, big support at 150, but kind of stalled here at the mid. Again, this volume is, we're just going to see, I don't know if there's any pair that is trading at average right now. I'm going through all these pairs. Yeah, this one's even, the pound Aussie dollar is even worse. Yeah, there's US dollar Mexican, that's about the only one that seems to be trading above volume a little bit. Yeah, it's just not a lot of great trades there, folks. I mean, this is, if you love to trade and you love to be trading when, anytime during the day, this is the worst time of year for you. This is not a fun time of year as a trader. And sometimes you just gotta accept that. You gotta accept that there's not a whole lot of people who want to do this every day, in and out, which breaks my heart as much as yours. But I would love for there to be wild action every day, because it's fun. That's how we make our living. But sometimes that just does not work out. Let me take a look over at cryptocurrencies now. Bring up my crypto chart. All right, we have had some. Now this is the 5-minute chart of the year I was looking at. This is just a. I mean, this is a horrible trading scenario here. It's just not a fun one. We're gonna go to cryptos. Switch over to the hourly. Look at the big one, Bitcoin. Bitcoin has just been hammered. In fact, the movement has been so strong that the exchange, like for this one, like Coinbase, cannot keep up with keeping the volume together. It's showing gaps in price, which is never a good sign. And all those signs of responsive buying when price gets lower, it's still there, but it's not as it's not as, I don't know, there's not a lot of oomph behind it. Additionally, we also have decreasing volume. In fact, as price started to go up a lot, we had decreasing volume. That was never a good sign. But we've had now some increasing volume as price has gone up, but it's been kind of dwindling again. And we have lost almost, what is that? Not $7,000 worth of value off of Bitcoin. We've gone from the 1950 to the 1250 area now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So that is never a great sign. Now we just have a lot of kind of little panic in here. I was talking yesterday about it trading in this channel, and it did break out of the channel, which is really bearish. And we did for a while. We responded. This arc is kind of our support arc, and we have had a lot of support off of it. All this kind of area we found support, and we're finding support now at the 12.5 area. We don't know if that's going to hold. This is a very bearish pattern. This is a over 25% correction from the very top here. That's a by any measure, 20% or greater is a confirmed correction. And you shouldn't look at that as a bad thing. You should look at that as a healthy thing. We should really look at this kind of move as healthy. We're shaking out some weak hands. We have people taking profits. This is going to provide some honesty and integrity with Bitcoin's price. And this is also an opportunity for people who, ever since, well, I mean, really, if we want to just look at it from where it was at, on the 6th of December, it went from 1250 to almost 2000. So that, I mean, that's a pretty parabolic move. And, that this kind of move should be expected. If we're looking at moon phases, it did happen right at the start of a new moon, which is a bearish sign at any historical high market top anyways. And we're also approaching a Fibonacci time zone and a normal Gann timeline. In fact, the 22nd of December is probably one of the most important, if not the most important, start and end date for a lot of Gann's time cycles. So it is not surprising that as we approached this area of confluence in time and price, that we have had some volatile price action. So in the short term, this looks painful if you were long. I had actually the other day I'd gotten in at 14,200, and then yesterday I got in on a pullback at 15.4, and I have no reason to assume that this is going to crash to zero. There's still a lot of value, optimism, and it's a brand new asset class. Some people could argue that institutions may be wanting to push this lower. That may be true because they might want to get back in cheaper. So, I mean, how manipulated is any market? Really manipulated? Not much at all. We probably exaggerate how manipulated markets are. Um, but if we're looking at this, this is a normal move. This is not an insane move. This is a pretty normal move. So we have price pretty much stopped at the 1250 area for right now on this hourly, but we'll see what happens. I still anticipate price as it gets towards this time cycle that we will have responsive buying to go back up. If this does go below 10, then all bets are pretty much off on where this will go. I'd be surprised if it went below 10. I could see it getting to 10. I would be surprised if it went to 10. Looking at a shorter chart, 15-minute chart, you just see this absolute fallout here with support, right? Just was like a tweezer bottom forming right there. These are big volume bars on this the end here, but we just had this 15-minute bar close, and that's not, to me, very convincing volume. It's less than the one before it. We really want to see a reversal in volume, and not just in candlestick formation, but in volume. So that does not look very promising to me. Other structure-wise on the Bollinger Bands, we did have a breakout of a Bollinger Band here. We have a little squeeze going on here on the 15-minute. Have a breakout and touch below, but we are really oversold in these indicators. Plus, on the longer time frames, we're extremely oversold. So, take that in consideration that when you have a breakout below the Bollinger Bands, but you're already in oversold conditions, it's usually the sign of a false breakout, and you'll have some return to the top side. So we have to be careful of that. Also, this date is the 20. I don't know why it paints it like this, but this says this is the 23rd at 3:15. When I bring it back on the daily, on the hourly rather. Well, that is just annoying. It kind of moves from the 22nd to the 23rd. Regardless, this is our important time zone. You should be on the 22nd, actually. Maybe. Oh well. Yeah, responsive buying off this. This harmonic, the me line can be a pretty good support area. Hopefully more than the 1333 area was. I mean, they're really close together, and this may have been a false break below that support line. And there's a whole lot of supportive structure around here. So just be careful of no, you really can't go short here, but because this isn't really a shortable instrument unless you're trading the futures. But this isn't a overly bearish area just based on the zone it's at. If I was shorting this, I would wait for a break below 1250 to go short. But I'd be comfortable adding longs. That's where I feel comfortable. Looking at the other pairs, Ethereum, the other major, that is really hammered as well. If you have a good value for, if you are like me, where you believe that cryptocurrencies are still in their infancy, that they're just starting out still, that this is yet to go anywhere. When you have the NASDAQ wanting to create their own futures for cryptocurrencies, you have multi-billion-dollar companies creating markets for cryptocurrencies now. You have Goldman Sachs Just yesterday was talked about creating a trading floor for cryptocurrencies only. Um, you just have uh, a whole ton of money and capital flowing into cryptocurrencies, and so that's where a lot of the money is going to go. This is not a dead area yet. I mean, I could totally be wrong, but again, I was talking yesterday. Bitcoin has lost 80% of its value, at least 4 to 5 times in its entire history. So it's not totally outside of the realm of normal for it to lose 80% of its value. It's totally normal. Um, Ethereum. I don't like arbitrary Fibonacci levels, but if we were going off this one that I've had here for a bit, in fact, if we wanted to move it higher to the next high, we are at the 0.786 and have found support. This is generally a pretty supportive area. So is the 0.618. That's a pretty supportive area. But we'll see. Litecoin. Litecoin is probably the coin that has the worst going for it as far as the major pairs that are traded off Coinbase. Litecoin, you either love it or you hate it. Some people believe in the technologies. There's already technologies that are better than it. Plus, the founder just dumped all of his coins, so it's probably going to get hit the hardest out of all of them, which it is. It's down 30%. I mean, these are wild moves where you go from over 400 to uh, 202. That's a bit of a big drop. 50% correction there. That's pretty wild. My favorite little altcoin, just because it's the only other thing that has any substance behind it really, is ADA. Has been holding up really nice. It has not been experiencing a massive blowback and sell-off. XRP, Ripple, that's another really good. I don't know if it's good. It's a very popular. Oops. Where'd you go? Here. Ripple is also considered one of the majors. That's some response right there. Off of the 72 handle. That is some big volume response. If I bring this out to the daily, look at that. Look at these moves. You went from Ripple went as high as a $1.36 all the way down to 72. That's another nearly 50% retracement in one day. It's pretty wild. Ripple was just up yesterday. It was up 50%, 40%. Now it's down, 26%. Bitcoin looking like it does not want to hold the 1250 area at all. It's selling off there pretty heavily on large volume. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be interesting. Lot of big moves in cryptos. A lot of profit taking, a lot of panic. Again, I'm looking for this arc to remain in supportive structure. So, whatever bar we're in, I'm looking at the top and the bottom of my arc here as a supportive buying area. So we're looking at 10.9, and then also first one here is 12.3. We're just not finding a lot of. I mean, we're getting a lot of buying here. I mean, there's a ton of buying and not a lot of selling, so that's you know, should tell you something. We also have a lot of divergence on the hourly, forming repeatedly throughout the day yesterday and today. You know, getting uh, higher lows in our oscillator, but lower lows in our price. So a lot of this may be really generally oversold. That, you know, at some point, um, when the actual hardcore buying steps in, it'll be a pretty rapid response. But for right now, um, we are still in a big sell-off. And we may get a nearly 50% retracement out of this. You know, we may go from, you know, touching 20,000 all the way down to 10. That would be pretty wild. And I know if you have Bitcoin already, like I've been talking with some of my clients, and you know, I do some other analysis for some organizations. They are in a total panic mode right now. They are freaking out. They are irritated and frustrated and shouting, "Why is this happening? What's going on here? Why is this doing this? Who's manipulating this?" You know, those are the kind of emotion. That's an emotional response. That is the kind of uh, um, what's what I'm looking for. I don't know how to say it without sounding condescending, but it's an immature way to look at the market and your position, and it's indicative of why you probably should not be in the market if you are getting frustrated with why something isn't going your way. You just have to accept that it is, and then look for the opportunities for it to reverse. Um, Again, I believe that the opposing move here will be back to the upside, and it will be a pretty violent move. We have been riding down on this Bollinger Band on the hourly and blowing through these support structures without a lot of actual volume momentum, at least on the daily. So I anticipate at whatever point, however low this goes, that we will get some big moves to the top. All right. But for right now, I'm seeing our arc here acting as support. If this breaks support, all bets are off. If it breaks this arc below this last little arc in here, that is a very bearish sign. This correction is a bearish sign already, but it's healthy for the overall price here. But you know, we have, you know, just as we have people who were afraid of you know, the FOMO, fear of missing out is FOMO. You had a lot of people who were the fear of missing out were participating in these upper areas. Now we're getting the inverse. As we get lower, we have the people who are afraid of losing everything, and so they are just kind of taking the making the choice to exit the painful route. All right, so that is what we may be seeing here. You know, also when I'm looking at this, we don't have a lot of volume participation in these ranges here between, you know, essentially 12,000 and 15,000. This is a kind of not a lot of volume here, not a lot at all. We do have a lot of more supportive volume below. So we should expect to see price find more support at these price levels at 11,000 to 10,000. We should expect that, but you know, for the time being, this thing just wants to, you know, in this 1 hour alone, we have gone from the open at 13,795 to 12,000. What are we at? 12,222. $1,500 drop in Bitcoin right now. Like I said about the RSI and the CMI, things can remain oversold or overbought for a long time. Just because these regions touch does not mean it's going to reverse imminently. Even though there are a lot of signals that say this will and should reverse soon, we want to wait for that to happen. So we have a lot of dropping going on here. A little fun to watch, a little fun to observe. Let's bring it down to a shorter time frame. Let's even look at this on a 5-minute. How violent are these moves to the south? Yeah, we have like no buying here so far in this 5-minute. No buying in this zone. We have more selling than buying. So, you know, what this says, because this is not a shortable instrument, what this is telling me is that we just have a crap ton of people getting stops hit or panicking and selling their stake. They're just getting, the move is too painful. They have just reached their wits' end. Psychologically, they are in panic mode. And then eventually we'll see more and more buyers step in, and it'll reverse this trend that we've been in. But you know, we should see some more supportive area the lower we go. You know, we're breaking below the 12,000 area probably. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Yep, we are below that arc. And so the next arc is in the 10,000 to 11,000 range. So we have to look at that here. I have to respond to some freaked out clients here. Tell them to chill. You really have to relax. If this is the only instrument you've ever traded, where you've seen moves like this, yeah, that is a little worrisome to see things like this. It'd probably be like trading the less dramatic version of the pound went during Brexit, if you were trading back then. But you know, moves like this, they don't happen often, and thankfully, corrections are supposed to be very quick. They're supposed to be very fast. They are supposed to be like a band-aid being ripped off quickly, not slowly. They should move like this, and then it should take some time to you know, regain that previous value. You'll see that in the regular stock market. That is how it works. That how it works in any market, because naturally when you have people who have suffered a lot of losses here, and you have a great majority of people who witness this price action, you're gonna be naturally a little bit more cautious. But those are the buying opportunities. I know they always say that you should buy when people are selling and sell when people are buying, but usually in trading that just burns you. You know, you want to be, again, you want to be in harmony with the market. You don't want to be different from it. You want to be like a fish in a school of fish, or a bird in a flock. You know, if you're swimming out alone, you're just going to get eaten up. If you're flying off alone, you're just not going to get anywhere. If you're singing in a choir and you're not in harmony, people are going to look at you funny. If you're out of key or you're dissonant. So the point is to be with everybody, but you want to be somewhere near the head of the pack. You know, let some people run in front of you before you go in that direction. All right. The point is, you just got to figure out where and when that direction change happens. Watch it and then jump in. Okay. That is always the hard part, and sometimes you can't even give an explanation. You just almost like feel it. And when you watch a certain instrument for a long time, you kind of get a feel for how it moves. It's not anything that you can really explain. It's just you just kind of feel how a certain forex pair moves, or how a certain currency moves, um, or how I don't know, like a stock market moves. You just the more you trade something and the more you look at it every day, the more you kind of become in tune with it. Quick look at our other major pairs here. The Ethereum, just total blowout here. Litecoin, it's the same thing. We just really massive breaking points here. Dash, massive sell-off. Every single cryptocurrency right now is. I don't know. Is there any alt pair even that is experiencing? Okay, AGR, whatever that is. We have some pairs showing some strength. Yeah, some of these are just like crap altcoins, but they're on Bitrix's exchange. Yeah, we do have some that are like these coins, Dope Coin. They're worthless. They're pointless. They're a novelty, but they're still traded. Hemp Coin, Dope Coin, all those are doing well. Yeah, otherwise, we only have a few altcoins that are actually doing okay, and the others are doing. Everything else is doing really poorly. It's a sector-wide capitulation in price. So, yeah, it's just not a lot of fun moves happening here, but that happens. And it's good it's happening right before the holidays. We should see some decreased uh, moves here as we get closer to Christmas. Okay, yeah, we have total blowout of that area. Man, that is just insane. That's fun to watch. I mean, I'm not liking my Bitcoin amount fall apart, but I'm really not too worried about it in the long run. But we did fall apart with that angle. We have broken through the first arc. And yeah, we're just looking for some support somewhere here. Some buyers will step in, maybe. We'll have to find out. All right. Sorry, I've been kind of rambling here mostly, but yeah, we'll see you guys Tuesday next week because we've got Christmas coming up. Really, I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. Enjoy time with your friends and family. Rest, relax, stay away from the market for a while, give your brain a break. Just eat, be merry, and have a fun and relaxing holiday season. Be safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.